What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. It's your host, Trey, man, and I'm here to give you basically a quick reaction on what exactly happened in the NBA Finals last night, plus a little bit of my thoughts on where Jokic actually ranks amongst the greatest centers of all time. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So last night, man, first and foremost, Miami had the lead at the end of the second quarter, at the end of the third quarter, and a portion of the fourth quarter. All right. So for the Miami Heat to manage to squander the type of game that the Denver Nuggets were playing last night, it just shows you that they are who we thought they were. Okay. We've been saying that, or the world has basically been saying that Miami is a team full of undrafted free agents with Jimmy Buckets or Jimmy Butler, whatever you choose to call him, all right, as their leader. All right. He's like Batman or something. Okay. He's not a true superhero with superpowers. He's just someone who is fully utilizing everything within his wheelhouse to maximize his full potential. Okay, and that's Jimmy Buckets in a little bag, man. You know, he's not the player that a team should be depending on to be their number one. All right. Miami got to where they got to because of Eric Spoelstra and his coaching. Yes, Jimmy Buckets had a lot to do with it once the playoffs began. But in the regular season, let's be honest, this was one of the worst teams in the NBA. They had the worst offense in the NBA. Yes, their defense was good, but they couldn't score at all. Okay. And when the playoffs began, Jimmy Buckets finally somehow got healthy, which he does that when the playoffs come around, because I believe he does save himself for that time. And when the playoffs began, he crunk it up. He hit a 35-point game at Boston, a 50-point game, a 45-point game. You know, he scored early on in the playoffs. But as you go throughout the playoffs and you get deeper into the playoffs, he kind of fell off a little bit, man. You know, and it's not to it's not to as if he wasn't out here really trying to do what all was needed to be done to win the championship. It's just this man was hurt mentally, emotionally, physically. He's got a lot going on. If you don't know, he's about to have surgery, okay, on his knee for debris, or they're really not saying what it is yet at this point. But everybody here could see that the man was hurt and that there was something going on. But I'm not making any excuses because, to be honest with you, Denver is a great team and Denver should have won this series. They have the length. They have a great coach with Michael Malone, and they have a great center with Jokic. Okay. The reason I said or made the statement that I made earlier in this session about the fact that Miami squandered their opportunity against Denver. Well, if you look at the stats and you watch the game last night, they had the biggest opportunity in the world to actually do something. The problem is Jimmy Butler scoring 21 points. That's not going to win. Okay. Bam Adebayo scored 18 points in the first half, 2 points in the second. Yeah, 2 whole points. So that's 1 point per quarter he scored in the second half. All right. So that's never going to win you a championship, never going to win you a title. But then when you look at the inverse, look at what was going on with Denver. All right. Okay. Jokic, what was he? Jokic was 12 for 16 for 28 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, but he also had 4 turnovers. All right. And then when you look at Jamal Murray had 14 points, 6 of 15 shooting from the field, 8 rebounds, I believe. And then what was that? 8 assists. But then again, 6 turnovers. All right. This was clearly an opportunity for Miami to actually win the game. Denver was handing this away. They were giving it away. Okay. They were just giving it away. All right. But at the end of the day, the better team did prevail. And now, since we're talking about Denver and the fact that they won the finals, and I've been telling you this whole time that Denver is a great team. They actually have uh, brought new innovations back to the league, and I see new innovations back. All right, because of the fact that you're bringing back the big man, but you're adding skill to the actual way that it's executed at the position, and yeah, it's just you're seeing beautiful basketball with what Denver's doing. But this is the future, you guys. All right. Please be aware that this is the future. You're going to start seeing when Victor Wembanyama gets in the league, you're going to see a lot more centers coming in behind him that are able to navigate the court with the ball in tow, with handles. Not just doing it, not just moving down the court, but I'm talking about with actual handles. Okay. So please be on the lookout. Pay attention, because what I'm thinking is happening right now is almost like how when Golden State, okay, innovated the league with small ball, nobody really knew what they were looking at. When nobody really appreciated what was actually happening until maybe like year 2, year 3. All right. What we're seeing right now with what Denver is doing and the skills that the big men are coming into the league with right now, point in a direction that the big man is coming back, which is a great thing. I like it when the big man's involved in basketball, because in all actuality, it's just better that way. Okay, it's just better that way when you have the big man taking over the game at some point, but you still got the inside out. I love shooting guards and I love small forwards, but let's be clear about this, man. Everybody loves them big man. So now that Denver has won the NBA Finals, okay, and Jokic has been named the MVP of the NBA Finals. Where does Denver sit amongst all-time teams that have won finals championships? Well, be honest, man. I don't think they're there yet. I think they have a lot of good players. I think they have an opportunity to reach that level. We'll see over the next 2 years, see how they respond to being champions, because not everybody responds well to being champions. And let's just see what we get from them. Remember, they did just make a trade about 2 days ago, 3 days ago, that I told you about on the podcast. And when a team is making a trade in the NBA Finals for draft picks in the future and present, that just lets you know that they are present in the present, okay? Because they understand how important the future is. And if you don't think about it, you'll never get to it, and not at least what you were planning. So they're putting together a good plan. They are motivated to still stay where they're at right now on the top of the league. Okay, remember, this is, what is this, 4 years in a row that we've had teams, or 3 years in a row, 3 out of the last 4, something like that, where we've had teams that were homegrown. So this is a homegrown team with the Denver Nuggets. Milwaukee Bucks was a homegrown team to win the championship. Golden State was a whole homegrown team to win the championship. Yeah, 3 of the last 4 champions were all homegrown teams. All right, so what's that showing? What's that saying? Especially when you look at what's going on with the new collective bargaining agreement in the NBA, where they are really making it difficult for teams to acquire those 3 stars at one time under a max deal and semi-max deals and all that stuff there. Okay. So what you're going to see right now is a lot more teams trying to go back to the way it used to be, where you have to actually build through the draft. You have to have good coaching, good system, good fundamentals. You're going to see a sea of change, or a wave of change, come across the NBA as far as how the game is played. Kobe Bryant said prior to his passing that AAU basketball was killing the United States, and that we needed to get back to the skill of the game. That's why the Europeans are coming in and doing what they're doing. Well, if you look right now, what's going on? Look, you got Jokic and I'm sorry, not Europeans, foreign-born players. Okay, because it's a difference. And what you're seeing right now is just, you could be seeing a sea of change for where the players and stars of the NBA come from. I mean, let's just be clear about this. Four of the biggest stars in the NBA are foreign born. You got Joel Embiid, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo, and all these people are under 30. You got Jokic, you got Luka. Yeah. You got a lot coming from overseas right now, especially when it comes to being a star. I don't know what it is that prepares these young men to come in and be ready. Maybe it's because of the fact that they're not at home. That always has played a part or played a role in how most people react. When you're not at home and you're not in your own place, you tend to be more courteous. You tend to be more likable because you're polite and you are trying to navigate waters that you're not used to because you're in a foreign land or in a foreign place. And I think that since these players come from overseas with their head on a swivel, should I say, all right, that kind of gives them an advantage because they're not fully comfortable with where they're at. Notice Jokic, the first thing he said when he won the finals MVP and he won the finals, first thing Jokic said is, I want to get back to Serbia. Like, I can't wait to get back to Serbia. Not the parade, not pop bottles, not hang out with my homeboys. No, he want to get back home. So maybe that could play a part. But let's get into the real story of what's going on right now. Is a lot of people are trying to put Jokic in the top centers of all time. Okay. I had to do a quick deep dive. All right. And look at some stats, look at some numbers, do some comparisons, evaluate where Jokic is at right now in his career versus other players and other great centers of yesteryear. All right. So let's just start off with number one on my list. Okay. Is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Okay. Now, Kareem is a 6-time MVP, 2-time finals MVP, 15-time All NBA, 10-time All Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and man got 6 chips. And unless he played for the Lake Show, but he got 6 chips. 6. So, averaging 24.6 points per game with 11.2 rebounds per game with 2.6 blocks per game, shooting 0.559 from the field. The man was a beast. All right, he had a shot that no one could replicate. All right, and people try to do it, you know what I mean, but they can't do it like Kareem. And this is the most unstoppable shot of all time. Okay, so that's why Kareem makes number one on my list. All right, now number two, Bill Russell. Yeah, bitter rival of the LA Lakers. We're talking about the Boston Celtics and Bill Russell. We're talking about a player who won a title as a coach / player. All right. That's how good this dude was, man. This dude is a 5-time MVP, 12-time All-Star, 2-time All Defense. And I'm still trying to figure out how he was only a 2-time All Defense when we're talking about one of the greatest defensive centers of all time. Like when you talk about defense, you talk about Bill Russell. So I'm not understanding how he was only a 2-time all defense, besides the fact that the people voting for him kind of had something against him. Okay. Then you look, he got 11 chips. 11 chips, 11 all NBA. Now, yeah, he only averaged 15.1 points per game, but he had 22 rebounds a game, 4.3 assists per game. Now, his shooting wasn't that great either. He only shot like 44% from the field or something like that for his whole career. So it is what it is on that end. But this is the most accomplished person in sports history, the greatest winner in sports history. All right. So that's why Bill Russell, he got to be number 2. Okay. So number 3 on my list, somebody I had the pleasure of watching a lot of, and that is Shaquille O'Neal. If you're my age, you know who Shaq is and you know what Shaq's done. We're talking about somebody who tore down a whole stadium 2 times. Okay, he did it the first time and everybody thought it was a fluke. And then he did it the second time. And then next thing you know, oh my goodness, this dude is a phenom. Yeah, Shaq was like that, man. Shaq, all right, is a 15-time All-Star. He won Rookie of the Year. He's 14-time All-NBA, 3-time All-D, 4 chips, 23.7 points a game, something like 10 rebounds and 2.3 blocks a game, something ridiculous like that over his whole career. Let's not also forget the fact that he did shoot 58.2% from the field. All right. Yeah. Shaq was like that, man. He was the most dominant big man ever. And so that's why Shaq is number 3 on my list. Now let's look at number 4, man. Number 4, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Yeah, I said it. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, number 4 on my list. And the reason Hakeem number 4 on my list, man, is because, yeah, he only got 1 MVP and he only got 2 finals MVPs and 2 chips. But he did get Defensive Player of the Year 2 times, which I really thought he deserved it more. But then again, he did have Jordan in the league. Yeah. Pause on that so everybody understands the greatness of Jordan. And then let's see, what else did this man do? Hakeem Olajuwon, we said he was a 12-time All-Star. We said he's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Finals MVP, 1-time regular MVP, 12-time All-NBA, 9-time All-NBA defense. 9 with 2 chips, man. All right, this is the dude that people go to look when they're trying to improve their footwork. All right, Hakeem Olajuwon said that he invented the dream shake on the soccer field. All right, this is a foreign-born player that came to U.S. soil and learned our game so quick, turning his skills, his height, and his agility into one of the most dominant forces in NBA history. Let's not also forget the man was on Phi Slamma Jamma, all right, in H-Town. Shout out to H-Town. Yeah, he was doing his thing, man. So that's why Hakeem got to be number 4 on my list. Now, let's get to number 5. This is where a little debate starts to come in, okay? Because this is where we got Wilt Chamberlain. Okay. Now, Wilt Chamberlain's a 4-time MVP, 1-time Finals MVP. He's got 13 All-Stars appearances, 10 All NBAs. He's got 2 All Defenses somehow, some way. I'm trying to figure out who you were giving it to when you weren't giving it to Wilt and you weren't giving it to Bill Russell. Who were you giving it to back then? I don't know. Not going to disparage the voters. Is what it is. Okay, then we look at the fact that he was the Rookie of the Year and he got 2 chips. Yeah, he's got 2. He's got one in 72, I believe, and another one in 67. Hold on. I can just validate that real quick. Let's see. He has. Even I have to look up stuff sometimes, you guys. I know I'm the book, and I tell you I ain't got to look, but every now and again, I got to look too, man. Yeah, he won a chip in 67 and 72. I believe those were the 2 years I said. So, like I said, in the book, man, you ain't got to look. All right, so, Wilt number 5 on the list, up for much debate, especially now that I'm going to name the next two who are about around the same range, but not really in the same space. Okay. And let's talk about Moses Malone. Now, Moses Malone is one of the most traveled centers in the Hall of Fame ever. Okay. The man played for like 12 teams or something like that, 10 to 12 teams. He played for a whole bunch of teams, man. Most people do know him or remember him from when he was in Philadelphia, but he did also play for San Antonio and a couple other ones. He's a 3-time MVP. He's 1-time Finals MVP. He's 12-time All-Star. He's 8-time All-NBA. He's 2 All-Defense, and he is with 1 chip on his finger. So Moses Malone makes that list. His points per game were like 20.3 points per game, 12.3 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks. And I did skip Wilt, which was some amazing numbers that I forgot to give you. Let me go back for a second. Okay, Wilt Chamberlain's numbers are 30.1 points per game, 22.9 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game. So the man, that's why I compare him to the next guy I'm finna talk about. Okay. Now, the next guy I'm going to talk about, I'm going to wait. Hold on. I'm going to save him for last. Okay. Because really and truly, he doesn't belong on this list yet. Okay. He's a great center, but he doesn't belong on this list yet. Because number 6 is David Robinson. You can't forget about the Admiral. The Admiral was one of the greatest fundamental centers of all time. I say fundamental because he kind of helped the big fundamental become the big fundamental. You know what I mean? He was a lefty. All right. Served us some time in the Navy. All right. He was 7'1". He 10-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA, 8 All-Defense. Yes, I said 8 All-Defense. Okay, that's while Dennis Rodman was in the league, and Jordan was in the league, and Shaq was in the league, and Elijah Wan was in the league, and Ewing was in the league, and we can keep going. Okay, he also did get 1 Defensive Player of the Year. He got Rookie of the Year. He got 2 chips. He averaged 21.1 points per game. 10.6 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. All right. So when you talk about David Robinson and Admiral, put some respect on his name, man, because he's this top 7 that I got right here. Let's see. We said Kareem. We said Russell. We said Shaq. We said Hakeem. We said Wilt. We said Moses. We said Robinson. That's 7. Number 8 on this list, who just made the list, White Wilt, Jokic. Okay. And I put him on this list at this point because right now, if we talking about the greatest centers of all time, you got to start bringing in people like Patrick Ewing and stuff like that. And he ain't got no chips. So, Jokic, one of the only players in NBA history to do it as a duo, averaging 25, 5, and 5 with Jamal Murray throughout this whole playoff run. And almost throughout the finals, throughout the playoff run, he actually averaged 30.2 points per game. He averaged 12 to 14 rebounds and 9.5 assists. Yeah, 9.5 assists, man. The boy is a beast. Okay. And if you look past before his finals run, the man does have 2 MVPs back to back. All right. So you got to respect that. And then after you get to the fact that he's got 2 MVPs, he just got the finals MVP. And we just saw literally a center with the brain of Magic Johnson. Not saying the flash of Magic Johnson, but the ability to see the play before it happens. You know, and the last person put up any kind of numbers like him is Wilt Chamberlain. Now, and Kareem. Kareem did it too. But Jokic has done it 3 times, and he almost averaged it through the finals, which is just insane, mind-boggling that he almost did it throughout the finals and he almost did it throughout the playoffs. So, Jokic, he's number 8. You make top 10 now, man. Welcome to the club. All right, y'all. So this is my reaction to the NBA Finals. This is the end for the NBA Finals. We're about to transition straight into football now, and some baseball, some boxing, and a little WNBA. And oh yeah, we are gonna cover the NBA draft. So we got a lot coming. All right. Please be on the lookout, man. Y'all have a blessed day and stay safe. Peace.